I'm Sandra Rupp. I'd like to thank the whole world for watching. We now have viewers in 168 countries and counting. Please subscribe here on YouTube. Follow my Davos secrets on WordPress. You cannot trust the media. You cannot trust pharmaceutical CEOs. You can't trust politicians. So you better do your homework and figure out who you can trust. And the way that you're going to fight for freedom is to refuse the vaccine passports. Because the vaccine passports are not about your health. The vaccine passports are about control. It's called winners take all, the elite charade of changing the world. The elite of Davos, as they call themselves, I personally don't believe that they're elite at all. I believe they're a bunch of men, primarily STEM majors, kind of geeky really. They can lock you down if you won't get an injection. An experimental injection that hasn't even been around for more than a year? No. Most vaccines have to take 10 years of clinical trials before I'll hold on to my freedom. Because it's the best thing I was born with. Freedom. Freedom of religion, freedom of speech. It's why my ancestors braved the Mayflower to come over here. We left Europe for a reason. But now we have to save Europe. I want to invite all of my viewers to look up the following words: technocracy, eugenics. Warfare of the 21st century is not about guns. Sometimes it's not even about the military. It's actually about psyops. They created this COVID in a lab in Wuhan so that they could take control. They couldn't find any other way to implement their one world government, their new world order, and you are then bowing to communism. No one should inject anything into your body without your permission. Right now, anyone who takes the mRNA vaccines is part of one big science experiment. I'm advising women to stay away from Davos this year and to let the men know that we need new leadership before we can participate. I'm not impressed by big consumer products companies who put out food that's unhealthy. I'm not impressed by big pharma, which markets drugs that we don't need. I'm very careful about what I put into my body. Placed on the Thinkers 50 Guru radar list for the world's top business thinkers. Put in the Financial Times Alphaville. Quoted in Forbes. It took me a while to figure out that the men at Davos were all acting together under a plan. They call it Circle of Experts, both at the United Nations and at Davos. So there are people at the top pulling the strings, so to speak. George Soros, Bill Gates would be examples of that. And then you have the Circle of Experts, and they are all manipulated by these powers that be. When you find out that the father of Bill Gates and the father of Boris Johnson both believed in eugenics, you have to worry. When you find out that the man who ran Bilderberg, David Rockefeller, also believed in eugenics. I've been friends with members of the Rockefeller family and people that worked for them. One of their board members who told me he's a communist. You could have never been a priest. So take that off your LinkedIn profile. I've seen the evil firsthand. Paul Pullman created the UN Sustainable Development Goals with a man named Lord Mark Malloch Brown. He was just Mark Malloch Brown before he was knighted. Paul was knighted too, he's a sir. Except he wasn't born in the UK, so he can't call himself a sir. I knew him for 6 years before he was knighted. Not sure I would have knighted him. They don't care about the middle class. They don't care about the people in their country. They've told me so. They believe in a communist model whereby CEOs make tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, sometimes $1 billion from a publicly traded corporation, which is just incredible to me. And then there's everyone else. And the sad thing about this is they've gotten the media to buy in, they've gotten academia to buy in, they've gotten the medical community to buy into this. And these are very dangerous people. Bill Gates doesn't even have a college degree, let alone a medical degree. Are you going to listen to him for health advice? Not me. No, I haven't gotten the vaccine. I don't plan to. I am in the 20% of people who are highly sensitive, and a lot of us are quite intelligent. The media has been told to scare you into taking the shot. Once you take the shot, you get it on your phone, the digital passport. They'll combine your banking, they'll eliminate cash, they'll turn off your social media if they don't like what you say. The bankers should stay away from this because, let me tell you something, this country, Jamie Dimon, was based on freedom of speech. You can come right down here to Naples, Florida, and we'll sit down and have an executive coaching session. Yeah. I know a lot of excellent doctors here in the happiest, healthiest city in the USA who are not recommending the vaccine based on their risk factors, their age. Most pregnant women don't want to be vaccinated. Women who have had plastic surgery can have very dangerous side effects. So not everyone can take the vaccine. The CEO of Pfizer is a Greek veterinarian. The CEO of BioNTech, which partnered with Pfizer, is from Turkey and now lives in Germany. He's a billionaire. The CEO of AstraZeneca is a French billionaire. The CEO of Moderna is a French billionaire. And so you see, the United States did not have a lot to contribute with regard to the safety of this vaccine. Indeed, many of the people that are on the FDA used to work for Pfizer. The pharmaceutical industry is very sales driven. It's about making money. You know, it's so sad because companies like Pfizer and Goldman Sachs and McKinsey, they used to be the blue chip companies, right? When I first started an executive search back in the day. But now we see the end of the empire because there's been so much greed through the issuance of stock options that CEOs can now become billionaires, and it's no longer about doing good. You know, in the 80s, a lot of CEOs made 20 times the average worker. Now it's like 200, 400 times. When biotech first came out, I remember I wanted nothing to do with it. Under no circumstances do I believe in mandates because it's your body and it's your choice. New York has fallen to very dangerous communists. Omicron variant seems to me like a big fake variant because you only have to have 2 of the things that you had in the PCR test instead of 3. I mean, it's probably just a cold. That's why it's more mild. But they needed something else to scare us about, right? The Delta variant actually was created by the vaccines. I'm pretty much convinced of that because when you look at countries like Israel or Iceland or Gibraltar, you see that they had a higher incident of the Delta variant, and that's because they had a high vaccination rate. I think it would have been better if we hadn't have forced people to have the vaccine. I just want to give a shout out there to RFK Jr., who I actually met when I first moved to New York on the banks of the Hudson River. So be sure and read RFK's book about Dr. Fauci. You'll learn a lot about the globalists and what's really going down. It is not pretty, I want to warn you. But if you want to protect your children, the next generation, make sure that you really understand that you need to hold on to faith and freedom. Now, if you look at a guy like Larry Fink at BlackRock, you know that he's dangerous. He even said on CNBC that he believes that markets like totalitarian governments. You know, you don't say things like that casually. You say them if you're a communist. He's in another world. He has so much money that he believes that he's better than all of you, okay? He doesn't understand that goodness doesn't come from having money. Goodness comes from being a good person. Companies like BlackRock, which own a lot of the real estate, are now buying up individual homes to drive the prices up, and they're collecting the real estate. What are they going to do with it? Well, according to the Great Reset at Davos, you will own nothing and you will be happy. Do you really think that's true? I don't. The happiest day of my life was when I became an owner of my condo, a property owner. It's something that everyone aspires to. It's the American dream. We are in the midst of an information war. And it's probably the biggest war in our generation. It is the most important moment for everyone to understand that you must fight to maintain freedom. In the UK, in Italy, in Austria, in Switzerland, in Germany, those who do not want the mandates or the passports, we support you because we believe in your right to choose. There are a lot of secrets at Davos, but the one secret that I can tell you that's the most dangerous is that the vaccine digital passports are intended to take control of you, your health records, your banking. If they don't like something that you say on social media, they can turn off your banking. It's all intertwined because it's called a social credit score. Many countries that have fallen around the globe fell because of propaganda from the media. In the 1980s, the media was owned by about 50 corporations. It's now down to about 6. All run by liberal CEOs. I've had top women at Davos contact me and say, Sandra, how do we get more women there? And I've said we need a change in leadership because the men leading it right now, they don't want more women there. They've told you it's going to take another 130 years for equality. They have no plans to deliver equality other than to create race wars and to, make people look bad, both women and minorities. It's not a positive thing that these men are doing. Whether you're a Republican, a Democrat, a progressive, a conservative, we all have something in common, which is that we believe in the U.S. Constitution and protecting the rights of people around the globe. There are many military members who won't get the vaccine. We know that this is psychological warfare. This is a psyop. Even the inauguration looked communist to me. There were very few people. They were sitting apart. They were wearing masks. This is all to get you used to communism. And there are men in Silicon Valley, like Tim Cook, the Apple CEO, who have struck deals, economic deals with China for billions, hundreds of billions of dollars, and have looked the other way about the corruption and how they treat the employees, how they treat the women and the children and the child labor. I'm also not impressed by CEOs who don't care about what we put in our bodies. Look at all the consumer products companies. They fill their products with corn syrup and sugar and things that are addictive to keep you eating more so that their profits will go up. It's a small group of people who have gotten very wealthy. And at some point in my career, about 10 years ago, I decided I wasn't going to play that game anymore. No. So I left New York, I moved to Florida, and I decided to start blogging and doing videos and writing. And then Warren Buffett said, well, if you're going to get men to change and include more women on the CEO teams, you've got to embarrass them a little. So I put on my pretty dress, started to do it with a smile on my face, got them to make changes. I had to clam it up. I learned that at the Forbes Most Powerful Women Conference because a lot of the women came from the media industry, an industry that I had actually worked in. One of my first bosses was a media boss who had created Entertainment Tonight and Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. It was a great first job. It helped me very much in my executive search career. And I also then moved into executive coaching. And now I combine all of those things to help create a bright future. Not through the help of Paul Pullman, though. No. Paul Pullman stole all of my intellectual capital and all of my ideas. I helped him turn around Dove and Axe and Unilever as a company and get women on the CEO team. They had no multiracial women in their ads when I started. But Paul gave all my ideas to his white male CMO who refused to hire me. And I got nothing. Except I got more respect. I got a lot of respect because I got viewers in 168 countries. Paul doesn't have that. No. I believe there's been an election meddling by people at Davos and UN, and I believe that we need to hold on to freedom and make sure that the elections are free and fair. So I could never exist in a communist society. I love freedom. I'm all about freedom of speech, diversity of thought. When I get a group of people on a team, I want to make sure that not everyone thinks alike. So I actually believe that you should have diversity of political thought on your team as well. Twitter wanted to remove one of my tweets about Davos and crimes against humanity. Well, I refuse to remove it. So I'm not going to. So I've now appealed it. And I'm waiting for that new CEO to stick up for freedom of speech. Let's hope he's got what it takes, otherwise Twitter's going to tank. That stock will tank, I guarantee you. We have many other things we can do with our time. Great writers, great thinkers, world's top business thinkers. I was one of the first people in executive search to present diverse candidate slates. And I helped a lot of diversity candidates become successful. But now they want to erase women with blonde hair from all the advertising schemes because there's something wrong with us. Wow, isn't that interesting? Because some of us were the ones who fought the hardest for diversity and inclusion. But now all of a sudden these white male CEOs making millions and tens of millions and billions of dollars are the ones we're going to look up to. I'm actually going to be giving a talk in a couple of weeks to a group of women about freedom and faith. We don't believe in lockdowns. We don't believe in mandates. We believe in freedom. It's actually against the law in Florida to ask someone their vaccine status. This is a free state. This is a free nation. If you live in a blue state, get out there and picket. Get out there and fight for your rights. Because this is a psychological operation to scare you. And I will not be putting in any mRNA vaccines. I think we need to make a statement that Davos is not worth our presence. Let's go to the Women's Forum. I think the smartest women in the world know that that's what it's going to require. The men at Davos have failed us time and time again. There's no sense of humanity there. Too many STEM majors. And for all the liberal women who went along with the program, you know who you are. Wasn't such a smart thing to do, was it? No. I was genuinely hoping to raise the percentage of women from 15% to 30%. I mean, it wasn't a huge ambition in my mind. I got it up to 24%, so I'm proud of that. But it's much too small. It doesn't make sense for 75% of men making decisions for the entire world. It just is too dangerous. Instead of inviting seasoned women with leadership skills, I was told by one of the world's former top global CEOs that Klaus Schwab didn't really want more women there. It's taken me 10 years to figure that out. But now I know. They're not elite. A lot of them fly around the world cheating on their wives, wanting to win that Nobel Peace Prize. No, not for me. I believe in integrity. I believe in better things. I've got better ways to spend my time. What's going on now with goods being held up in the ports, probably an orchestrated plan to hurt the economy. We want to make sure that we don't hurt small business. Personally, I've been shopping more at small businesses. I'm not impressed by the big box stores. If you'd like to have me speak to your group about faith and freedom, please contact me. I'm happy to do virtual speaking engagements. I'm fighting about it for the people around the globe. I've got integrity on my side. It's been my ace card all along. I'm Sandra Rupp. I'd like to thank the whole world for watching. Happy holidays to everyone. Love you all.